In this video, I'm going to show you exactly the steps that you need to go through so you can go ahead and get over a breakup. My name is Tristan Social, and if you're new to the channel, I like dating, I like girls, and I like talking about relationships. So, without further ado, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and consider that. But we're going to jump straight into it right here in the video from the jump. What you need to do to get over a breakup. Look at the handy dandy whiteboard right here above me. Our step one, this is going to be one of the biggest steps. If you are half in, half out, you're all the way out. If you're half in, half out, you're all the way out. I'm going to say that twice just so you really reiterate it. You need to accept where it is that you are on your journey so that you know where your starting point is. A lot of people question, maybe I'll go ahead and get back together with her, or maybe, the relationship isn't done yet. Listen, if it's over, it's over, and we have to come to this first point right here of acceptance. If you're not all the way into this decision of you going ahead and overcoming what it is that you're going to be going through on this journey of leaving that situation that you were in before and moving on to new people, new situations, new environments, stop watching this video right now. If you're not fully set in on your mindset to go ahead and be able to go ahead and get past it, the rest of the steps don't even matter because you're going to be half in, half out, and then you're going to be all the way out, and you're not going to get the results that you want. So coming to number one, that acceptance. Okay, this relationship is over. It wasn't what I wanted it to be. I have new goals, new visions. I need to go ahead and separate myself from this. And this is a decision. Decision comes from the Latin word of deciduous, I think. Could be completely wrong, guys, but it means to cut off all other options. Once you accept and you decide that this is the path that you're going to be going on, then we can elevate and graduate to the next steps. But until we get to that point, it's not even worth continuing the video. So first one, acceptance. Accepting that where you're going to be going is in a new direction. Step two, I want you guys to understand and think of it like a wound. And you're going to be like, Tristan, what do you mean a wound? It's like if you have a cut on your arm, the only way that it's going to heal is if you don't keep recutting it. And that's why acceptance is so important and ties in from the beginning. Because say you have a cut on your arm, it's brand new, it's fresh, aka the breakup. If you keep going back and keep reopening that wound, you keep cutting that wound, it's never, ever, ever going to heal. It's going to get infected, it's going to get sick, and that's what the definition of toxic is, where you keep going back to a situation that doesn't serve you and doesn't allow you to grow into a higher creatorship, into a place of your higher potential. I've seen time and time and time again, people almost get through a breakup and then they start back all over and they reintroduce and it gets old, it gets stale, and then what happens is a bunch of scar tissue ends up lying all over, like what could have been a clean cut and a clean decision to go ahead and make, because people couldn't go ahead and make that final decision and accept where it is that they're going. They keep reopening the wound. So once you understand that what we're going to be treating, it's like a wound. It's like a medical issue here. Cut the wound. All right, we're deciding that we're going to heal the wound. We're going to heal the wound and we're going to close the wound. That ties us into step three right here, closing the wound. What does that look like? Imagine if you have a wound, what do you want to do to close the wound? You want to treat it. You want to wrap it. You want to keep it covered. You want to apply the right medicine so that you can go ahead and move on and heal from that. So that might look something different to a lot of people, but my recommendation is to cut contact to that person, close the wound, close the relationship, even go as far as to block this person on social media or mute their profile so that you're not seeing their content and you're not continuously going back to a place of feeling of sorrow and nastiness and like missing them. Because if you feel these emotions time and time and time again, and you find yourself going back to these emotions, you're not feeling the emotions of moving on. You're not feeling the excitement of new people. You're not feeling what it is that you need to be feeling to get to that next level, to jump into that next realm, into that next chapter of your life. So close the wound. Whatever closing the wound looks like to you, to me, closing the wound looks like stop talking to them. Stop texting them. If you're using WhatsApp, archive their chats, or just make sure that you're not contacting them even when you're thinking about them, because I have seen so many men. Women are the greatest destroyer of men. Women can go ahead and have you doing outlandish, crazy things that you've never even thought about doing. And I've seen so many great men go ahead and kill themselves over this point right here of not being able to close the wound. It's absolutely pertinent to go ahead, cut communication, cut off that person, so that you can go ahead and move into a new direction. Because if you're 80% forward and 20% back, your growth rate drastically cuts instead of going 100% forward. And that's why acceptance and treating it like a wound is the first two steps into closing the wound. So cutting that person off, no social media, changing your environment. We're going to get to changing our environment here on the next one. So once you decide that you're going to close the wound and you cut that person off, we're going to go ahead and get into self-analysis. And this is huge for men. You have to accept everything that was your fault in that situation, inside of that relationship, and accept it. Because if you say, hey, this person did this person did this person did this, it takes the problem outside of you. Because you chose to be in that relationship. You chose to be involved with that person. You chose to spend that money. You chose to spend that time. You chose to spend that effort. It's on you. It's full accountability. So once you take full accountability, you can have an honest self-analysis on where it is that you faltered, where you failed, where you could have been better. You could look back all the way to the beginning. There's red flags that you probably saw all the way at the beginning that made you think, oh, man, I shouldn't even jumped into a relationship with this person in the first place. That's a point that you can go ahead and have an honest self-analysis on. Oh, you know what? I let my health go. Okay, that's a point of self-analysis that you can go ahead and jump on. There's all these things where we want to put a bias to it because it's more comfortable and it saves our ego from dealing with what really was the root problem. At the end of the day, it's you as a creator, as a man. It is you that goes ahead and decides where you're going to be going from here and what was wrong with where you were before. So taking an honest self-analysis, what did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? Where did I go ahead and drop the ball? And then taking all of that and laying it out on a table in front of you so you can visually see it. That is a huge portion of it. When you have ideas just wrapping around in your head, floating around in your head, 100 can seem like 1,000 and 1,000 can seem like 1,000,000. When in reality, it's probably like 4 or 5 or 6 things. If you can just go ahead and pinpoint those, it probably even drop down to like 3 or 4, where you can go ahead and pinpoint, this is where I messed up, this is where I messed up, this is where I messed up, and this is where I messed up. And when you understand that these are your areas, you can then improve on them. But if you don't even know what areas that you need to improve on, there's going to be little to no chance of growth able for you to grow from. So having that honest self-analysis, I drank too much, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this, I messed up here, I messed up there, and having a honest self-analysis, because these are going to be where you put your new time blocks. When you break up with a person, you have a whole new set of hours that you can go ahead and work from. Take that time that you're now gaining from not being in that person with that person and go ahead and put it towards changing your environment. Oh my goodness. If you have, and this goes back to closing the wound. If you have all of these different memorabilia of this person, if you have the pictures on the fridge, if you have the sweater that they gave you at the carnival 3 years ago, you have all of these different things that are going to keep on refreshing your mind, how much you miss that person, how much this, how much that, how much this, how much that. You're not closing the wound. Close the freaking wound. Close it. And then don't look back after you close it. So changing your environment is absolutely heavy. If you get around people that are, making money, improving the quality of their lives, you get around 4 people that are pushing their self boundaries, you're going to be the 5th. If you get around 4 people that smoke weed, you're going to be the 5th. If you get around 4 people that drink on the weekends, you're going to be the 5th. If you get around 4 people that read books, you're going to be the 5th. So if you get around, if you're staying around the same people, doing the same things as when you were in the relationship, you are not going to grow. You're not going to be able to move forward. And that wound is going to close all mangled and disgusting, and it's not going to heal properly. That's why people put braces on broken ankles, because it needs to heal properly. And if you don't allow it to heal properly, you're going to walk and be with a mangled ankle for the rest of your life. And you're going to have to deal with that until, you go to a doctor and you re-break it and let it heal properly. There's all of these analogies. Everything is interconnected. Everything as a man is interconnected, from nature to relationships to health. Everything shares. We all come from the same pool. Everything is nature. Everything that we know of, like all these lights, all this, it all comes and it stems from nature. Seasons for sowing and seasons for reaping, but you can't do both in the same season. So if you're going through a breakup, you understand that time is your best friend here. You have to expand your time horizons, because how you're going to feel about a breakup the day after it happens is drastically different from how you're going to feel about a breakup 10 years after it happens. If you think back, say you're 27 right now, and you think back to a girlfriend that you had when you're 17, you were heartbroken. You were devastated when that happened. But you look back on it, it's like, oh, dude, I'm so happy I did what? Sarah, you're talking about Sarah from 10 years ago, doesn't even matter. adopt some of that mindset into what it is that you're going through right now. Changing your environment is going to be absolutely key. Getting around people that are going in the direction that you want to go to. Say it's you want to get around fighters, you want to become a better fighter. You got to go to a fighting gym. You got to take that time that you have right now and get into that fighting gym. If you want to go ahead and become a better artist, you want to become more, a moneymaker. You want to do this, you want to do this, you want to do this, you want to do this. Get around people that are doing that. Change your environment. Don't go hanging back with the same people that were doing the same things over and over and over again. You have to grow. And the reason that you're watching this video is because you want growth. Nobody clicks on a video of how to get over a breakup if they're not looking how to get over a breakup. You're looking for self-growth. And I want to congratulate you for even being at this point, looking to grow and looking to get to that next level, because a lot of people will sit in that sorrow and do nothing about it. So you're not one of those people. You're an action taker. I salute you for being an action taker. So changing your environment, what does that look like? Going to a new gym, going and hanging out with new friends, doing new activities, reading new books, doing new workouts, change. This is the time of change. Use that momentum. Use that, okay, this wasn't good. This wasn't serving me. Use that same energy to fly you into the next stage of your life. Don't walk into it, scream into it. Put a pedal to the metal and change all the things in your life. Because realistically, if you do an honest self-analysis, the reason that your relationship doesn't work is because you're becoming a new person. And if you're becoming a new person, become a brand new person. Become a greatest version of yourself. If you drop the relationship that may have been a negative habit for you, change all your negative habits. Change. Use this as a season of change. Go ahead and do some spring cleaning. Change out your wardrobe. Change your haircut. Change as much as you possibly can with an idea of moving forward for the better. So after you change in your environment, taking action. Everything is coming together here, guys. You accept that you're done with the relationship. You look at it like a wound. You close the wound. You have an honest self-analysis on where you can improve. You change your environment so that you can improve in the best and fastest way, most efficient way possible. And after you change your environment, you take massive action and you be consistent with that massive action. Like I said, it's a season of change. It is a season of I am growing, I'm becoming better, I'm moving forward with a brand new life. Do everything that you possibly can to make sure that the winds of change blow in your favor. Waking up earlier, reading more books, journaling more, meditating, creating a new identity, a new lifestyle. Take massive action. Go to the classes, talk to the cute girls, take those risks that you were so afraid to take before. This breakup could be the greatest thing that ever happened to you in your entire life. But if you don't change and reframe your mindset to be able to go ahead and elevate to a new plane, you're never going to be able to get to that new plane. So taking massive action. And Tristan, what does massive action look like? Doing more push-ups, doing more sit-ups, doing more workouts, doing more, and going ahead and getting to new levels, new planes, breaking through old plateaus, getting out of your old social circle, your old social comfort zone. Once you take massive action, what's going to happen is when you're consistent with it, you're doing 10% more, 10% more, 10% more, 10% more. You do 10% more across 10 different areas, you're 100% better. And then you do 100% over 10 areas, you're 1,000% better. So this is the most amazing time of your life. You broke up with somebody that isn't going to get you to the places you want to be. This is your time to boom, baby. Congratulations. Welcome to the show. We've been waiting for you. So after you go ahead and take massive action, after you change your environment, after you have the self-analysis, it's time for the glow up. And I think this is the best point. It's you go ahead and you realize I was slacking. I took accountability for everything that I was doing wrong. And now it's my time to go. Now you start hitting all the areas. You start just leveling up crazy. And you go with this like head down, bull in a china shop. I'm going to go ahead and become better. I'm not even looking back, but you needed to hit all of these before. So after you take massive action, you just continue to go, and glow up. And then you look, your skin becomes clearer, your habits become better, you're waking up earlier, you have more excitement, and you see like, dang, I am a powerful human being. I am who I think I am, and I'm proving it day in and day out with my actions. That's a huge thing. A lot of people could say the affirmations. They can look in the mirror. They can say, oh, I am good. I am great. I am lovable. What are you doing on a day-to-day habitual activity that makes you believe what it is that you're saying? Because if you just say the things in the mirror and then you don't do the habits and the actions necessary to prove what it is that you're saying in the mirror, you're delusional. That's the definition of delusion. If you say I'm making $1 million a year and you're making no efforts on actually getting to that point, you're doing the same things that made you $30,000 a year, you're not going to be able to grow. This is a representation of me becoming who I say that I am, making YouTube videos. This is me glowing up. So what happens when you start taking massive action? You start being super consistent with it, you glow up. And then what happens, something so amazing with the glow up, so amazing, is you look back on those habits, you look back on those pictures after the wound is completely closed, you look back on that situation, you're like, wow, I'm so much happier now. I have so much growth to show for this. I am a completely different human being, and I could not have elevated to this plane had it not been for that traumatic event that I visualized as negative for a long time. So listen, my friend, after you glow up, it's time to reflect. It's time to, the only time you should ever be looking backwards is in the rear view in the brand new car that you're driving, seeing how far you've come. So after you glow up, after you take massive action, after you change your environment, after you self-analyze, after you close the wound, after you understand that it is a wound, and after you accept that you're moving forward, it's time to reflect. It's time to look and say, okay, this is where I messed up. This is where I improved. This is where I am now. And this is where I'm going. And once you're able to go ahead and reflect and give to yourself that bit of satisfaction of I changed for the better, you can take a deep breath and realize that it's just a game that we're playing and it's your choice to get better. So to walk through it one more time, guys, you got to accept that it is the breakup is over. You got to look at it like a wound. You got to close the wound. You got to self-analyze. You have to change your environment. You have to take out massive action. You got to glow up, my favorite portion, and then you got to reflect on how far that you came. After you do those things, you're going to look at yourself in the mirror differently. You're going to stand differently. You're going to attract differently. You're going to be a bigger, better version of yourself that you never even met before. And then you get to do the process all over again, even without the breakup. Like, take the same mindset and then put it towards, a new job, a new venture, a new YouTube channel, a new Instagram. Like, you want to do this, you want to do that. Like, take that and don't wait for the breakup next time. And then you're going to go ahead and be able to go ahead and elevate to new planes. Bob Proctor said this: you're going to go ahead and go as far as you can see. And then when you get there, you're going to see how you can get further. So if you enjoyed this video, you know where to find me, at Tristan Social. I hope I gave you a little bit of value today. If I did, go ahead and comment what you liked about the video. I love comments more than anything because it shows that you guys are actually engaged with the video. So share it with your grandma, subscribe. I love you guys so very much. This is how you get over a breakup. I'll see you guys in the next video.